at sea when the lighthouse shut down, and understanding moves around us for now. There's trouble at sea, the delivery quite desperate, creaking up against the thorns. Do you know what use am I to you? a cloud, a whisper to say.
Well, Dune has a suggestion.
What?
Oh, you're a bit quiet this week.
Let's see. What did I do this week?
I could have turned down my headphone volume. But I need to get a level meter that's reliable, because like all right, so I'm in the yellow. Well, we still got 2 minutes before we actually gotta like.
Oh, yeah, we can do it. We're doing it live. It's fine.
Yeah, we're doing it live.
No.
Yeah.
I'm yelling at Windows for a second. They changed things on me now.
That's okay. I gotta rename some files, move them into folders, so I can lose them in a hard drive crash someday.
Oh, it's down 61. Why did it go so low? There, is that better?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Dune,
the audio levels went down the last Windows update I did, so.
Ah.
No.
yeah, Windows updates like, oh, that's not set the way I like to set
Well,
it.
I also run the Insider build, so when I do a Windows update, it installs a whole new version of Windows.
Those
so-
insiders, they want to get
Yeah.
on the inside.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, we are here, and Dune is here. Dune writing in because I had put a little note that like we'll be starting because I had the starting Dune screen, and I put a little qualifier under there if Mars is awake.
Yeah,
But-
I just woke up like 3 minutes ago, so.
That there we go. So you're nice and
I was
refreshed.
sleeping through my they're doing construction work upstairs on the there's drama with that one. You never heard drama till you've heard construction worker drama.
Oh,
Since I hear it through my door, since it's like super clear through my door, I hear all their stuff. Woo! I hear all their stuff. Woo! Boy.
kind of reminds me of for the brief few months that I was living in Gothard's parents' house. After I right after I moved up to Maine, it was move up to Maine, move into Gothard's parents' house, find a living situation. They were very accommodating about that. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, sure, guest room, come on in, be a member of the house, and we'll help you to figure out where you're moving to next.
And you're
Take-
like, hey, there's a trailer. Go through there.
Yeah. Well, it was a trailer wasn't actually plan A, I don't think, although pretty early on we looked at trailers. But buying a trailer from a business that sells trailers, they were not cheap. The trailer we found was a nice, well-kept trailer that a little old lady lived in. That she kept it in good shape. She just drove it to church every Sunday, and no, not that guy. If I say that, people might not understand I'm joking and picture a trailer being pulled by a truck to church every Sunday. The family turned the property into a bakery, so they wanted to get the trailer off the property so they could build. So that was a whole lot cheaper. But that's not the story I came to talk about. So during those few months before we got that plan together and found the trailer, one day I come down the stairs, and Seth is just sitting in the living room, not doing much of anything. And I'm like, what's up? Because it looks like this isn't the normal place he hangs out. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, wait a minute. And I heard the sounds of clank, clank, clank coming from the basement, followed by sounds of his dad cursing. He's like, my dad's doing plumbing. So,
Oh, my dad did not do plumbing. My dad said, I'm calling somebody because I'm not touching the pipes in this place.
Well, this house was literally built by his parents. So his dad did plumbing, professional electrician, and carpentry and roofing, and you know, it, they do it all. But anyways, doing ready good. You need to find a neighbor of Mars's, and be Facebook friends with them. Preferably one who shares a wall.
Well, the one right next to me has a cat, has a big Tom cat. The one I share the kitchen with. And I know because I hear it meowing about 6 o'clock, ready for dinner. And this cat is wider than it is long. And if
There
it
it
gets
is.
let out, it gets to the girls at night.
So, oh, that's cats for you.
That cat probably has about 30 wives.
But how many children?
I don't know, but I heard him last night going at it with somebody. So
Oh, that's the miracle of life happening. That's a
Yeah,
part of living in
yeah.
the Bay
Yeah,
Area, California. You
they-
know the cats. There's just a whole colony and
well,
community of cats, and you hear them at night.
the problem is since it's warm in California all year round,
Hmm.
they breed
Yeah,
all
they
year
do.
round.
They do. You could hear it.
Yeah, there's a grassy knoll right across by my mailboxes, and that's where they go.
I mean, the apartment I lived at, the second apartment I lived at, I mean, they were just well. The thing is there were some senior citizens that lived in our apartment complex that liked to leave food out for the cats. So when I was moving in, I noticed there was 5 different cats just kind of roaming our parking lot, and I'm like, wow, all the cats hang out here. And at some point, I heard neighbors complaining about the raccoons in the area because of the food being let out. So there was
Oh
a
yeah,
bit of
there's raccoons across. There's a raccoon that lives in the dumpster across the street. So
yeah. So there was some neighbor drama there because they wanted to. And speaking of cats, Momo has just stepped in here. Isn't that right,
Hi, Momo.
Hello,
meow
Momo.
meow 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 meow.
Hello, Momo.
Momo's
Mars
like,
says meow, 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 meow.
I heard tomcats. I want to say hi. I need some tomcat loving right now. You know that's what she wants.
She wants me to move that keyboard off my lap so she can settle down
Yeah.
and just lounge out there on my lap. So she's doing this little dance of moving the paws on my tummy, which usually involves multiple. The problem is when she starts to maneuver herself around my tummy.
She's needing you and says, "Yeah, I want to sleep
No.
right here."
I wouldn't have a problem with that if she wouldn't keep positioning her cat butthole right at my nose.
Well, that's
You know?
what she wants. She likes her cat butthole at your nose.
And
That's a sign
I'm
of
like, no,
affection.
no, no, because one of these days the timing's gonna line up, and she's going to
Oh, kitty fluff.
fluff right at my nose, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like having that happen. Let's not. Let's keep aiming over the shoulder is fine. In my face, no go.
Yeah.
So there's always this awkward dance of here. I keep aiming the asshole away from my face,
Just say you put your
Which-
you put your booty hole there. I'm gonna put a cork in it.
which eventually leads to me just moving the keyboard off my lap so
Yeah,
she'll settle
'cause
down and
that's-
get the asshole away from my face.
So she knows how to maneuver. Okay,
Yeah.
smart. Yeah, she knows.
She knows how to get me to move the
But
keyboard.
the thing is, Gators, I could tell you if I had a cat in here, it'd be right in my lap right now. You know it would be. It wouldn't be moving. It'd be napping. So
Dune Ready Kid, did I hear that right? You dudes bought that trailer, had it moved there? I had thought that thing was just a fixture in that spot for years before you cut. No, yeah, you heard that right. I'm surprised. I would have to imagine that at some point in time you knew the story. And it's an uneventful story, so you just filled in the default. But yeah, that lot of land behind Grammy's house was grown in, actually. We had to spend a weekend cutting weeds and brush out there, clearing it. And then we had a cement pad poured. That was another project where I think that was a two cement truck operation where there was Seth's parents, being very resourceful, laid the groundwork for plumbing into the pad and electrical into there, and kind of a framework of wood to pour the cement. And then cement trucks came and poured it out. It was self-leveling, but we had to do a little raking and moving around to get it started to. But dude, right again, I thought Grammy's house, old trailer, tree farm. What the fuck? It's all been a lie. Oh, the tree farm's definitely real. I don't know where it is or who owns it, but it's definitely real. And they used to have our phone number.
Gators, did you use size and like machetes out there? I can see you guys bushwhacking out there.
We did some bushwhacking. There were
Okay.
some tools and implements of
I
destruction.
mean, I just want to see you with the machete or like an old scythe or something taking the weeds down.
And then we had to hire someone to move
you
the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, we hired someone. Well, no, we cleared the brush. Seth's dad laid the plumbing and electrical to. I believe it must have had its own meter that came off of Grammy's house. They owned the property, and cable was run there too. I don't think the cable company knew about that splitter. I think the. I think enough time has passed. I had the job of distracting Grammy with some conversation while Seth tidied up some electrical work so that she wouldn't notice the cable turned to static for about 30 seconds while the splitter was.
You really think she would have cared if you took her cable? She's like, enjoy your soaps.
But that trailer we had moved there from another property that some sweet old lady, I imagine she was a sweet old lady, had passed, and her family built a bakery on the land.
Did that trailer have an odd smell?
No, it was pretty all right.
Okay.
No, she wasn't a smoker. I still have the blanket that was on the bed that came with the trailer. So I used that for years as my blanket.
Did the old
'cause it was
lady
free.
pass away in the trailer, or?
I think she drifted off comfortably in a some kind of care facility bed.
It wasn't in the trailer.
I don't think she died in the trailer.
Okay.
There was no chalk outline in the trailer. It was. Dude writes in, it was very blue inside, right? Oh, well, that's a whole... That story. So Seth's dad is the electrician who also does plumbing and is handy. And Seth's mom is a professional wall hanger or paper hanger. There's a terminology for it, but basically she's really good at wallpapering, which is a skill. And she also does painting. She used to do interior and exterior painting. As her joints got rough, she stopped taking exterior painting jobs. So she agreed to do basically it was just pick a color you want your room, and I'll get your rooms painted. And Sparky Toaster's in the house.
Hey, Sparky.
So I had made a mistake once before, because I like blue. And I like light hues of blue, like turquoise, sky. That tends to be what I grab. Like my shirt. I like my shirt. Blues are among my favorite color.
Wait, it was the same color blue?
What's that?
Was the same color blue?
It was similar.
I have a question. Could you have used that blue in the trailer as a chroma key? So during a stream, you could have just had your entire place be somewhere.
Well, no, there was like a window in the background, and the angle in the room was not chroma key. I mean, technically, you could try to chroma key any color.
So I said blue would be fine. Yeah.
It used to be blue, like the kind of plain
Well, there's
blue.
also green. I've seen the green screen.
But
one,
green
too.
screen became more the standard. But for a while, blue screen was the standard. But
Yeah.
really, you could do any color. It's just that they've, picked colors that tend to work better.
Yeah.
And having consistent lighting helps as well. But anyways, when going way back to when I was a wee little lad, 5 years old, my parents were buying their second house to get us out of the starter house, and that house was being built from the ground up. I mean, I watched that property turn from a hole in the ground. Well, heck, we went there before it was even a hole in the ground. I've owned one blue car, and that's by chance. Because that's Grandma's old car that I inherited, which is my current car. And the two before that were white. First one was also Grandma's car. The second one was what was available on the lot that was similar to what I was already driving after the first one broke down at a stop sign in Augusta, Maine, and started rolling backwards even though it was in drive. But
Sparky, I owned one blue car too. Just to let you know.
That you did.
Yeah.
So I was 5 years old, parents having the new house built, and my parents asked me that question, what color would you like your room to be? And they gave me, a chart with paint chips. I could pick any color I wanted. And I pointed to what I thought looked like a very nice blue color. It was called crystal blue. And the thing is I was looking at a paint chip on a piece of paper that had a clear, bright white background. So to me, it looked like this very nice, light shade of kind of a sky blue. It was such a light blue that without any context, my room looked more white than it did blue.
It had a blush of blue in it.
So it did not look as blue as I thought it was going to look. And I was actually disappointed. And now I kind of cringe to think back how frustrated my parents must have been. I picked this color, we moved into the house, and I don't like it. I mean, I still like the house, and I don't
The
think
bedroom's very blue.
yeah, but that bedroom was very muted blue, which is probably, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted in your face blue. So I didn't make that mistake with the trailer. I had learned my lesson. So when Seth's mom asks me what color you want it, I pick out this nice in your face turquoise blue, very similar to my shirt actually. I think it's a little darker maybe. And I didn't pick up on it right away, but I think there were a few "Are you sure's" in there, because I guess Seth's mom tends to consider. I guess that's not normal to paint your bedroom, bam, in your face. They like more muted colors, more.
That's
in
because
the
when you wake
background.
up in the morning, you're like, oh, okay, things are muted. They're not so harsh on your eyes.
Yeah, like Gothard, he went with a nice, very kind of light green color that was kind of
Yeah, I
for
probably
his
just do
room.
like chill myself.
And I did this bam in your face blue, and Seth's mom was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, that is great. That is a great blue. That is the blue I want. That is the." And so she bought it, and I was working the day that they were available to paint, so I didn't even help them paint my room, which they didn't ask
No.
me. There's no complaints. I felt a little bad about that, but there was no expectations or asking me or there was no attempt to schedule me to be able to paint this room. So they just did it. And Seth said when it was happening, like they put the first coat on and Seth's mom was like, oh dear, because this is not what she would pick. And so that day I get home from work and they're like, well, we painted your room today. I'm like, oh, that's great. How'd it come out? And Seth's mom, she didn't say it came out good, it came out great, it came out bad. She just said, well, it's very blue. And I'm like, well, that's good. That's what I wanted. She goes, yeah, well, good because it's very blue. And that's all. She gave this non-committal that neither positive nor negative.
Like,
It's very
I'm not-
blue.
It's
That's
not
all
my
she
room,
would
thank
say.
goodness. Yeah.
And I picked up on it. I'm like, I mean, it was just weird for her answer to how it came out. Well, it's very blue. So, yeah, and I saw it and I loved it, and they were like, "Oh, good," because it's very blue.
Did you sing the beginning of the Blue Man the Blue song?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, okay.
But to answer Sparky's question, did it go as you wanted? Yes. Oh, I loved it. It was I was thrilled with it. And then after I moved out, I think like the week after I moved out, Seth got some more paint in there and turned it yellow.
Yeah.
They did not keep the blue.
They probably had to put a couple layers on that over that blue, I bet.
They probably put some primer down.
Some primer. You take the chisel and you rock chip all the way down. You see all the different colors.
Yeah. But it was very blue, and that was how the trailer came to be there, and it's still there, and they're renting it out to someone now. Not going anywhere anytime soon.
Oh, that trailer's still there?
Oh yeah, they rent it out. They still own Grammy's house. Gothard and Mike use it as kind of a summer lake house. They had bought a lake house some years ago, but at some point it got to be too much to upkeep that, and then Seth's parents finished fixing up Grammy's house because there were thoughts of, I don't know, maybe rent. Well, they rented it after Grammy left the house for a while, but they didn't rent it again. They're like, well, it needs some fixing up. It needs insulation. So then after the first renters moved out, they fixed up the house, and now it's. But I think Seth's parents have that house in mind for retirement years when they get to a point that they can't just live in the woods anymore, because their geodesic dome house that they built themselves, they have a
geodesic. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what they built, and
so they live in a giant igloo. Okay.
Well, it also has an addition, a standard shaped addition off the side, because originally it was just the geodesic dome, and I think originally it was just the one floor with a really tall ceiling, and then they added a second floor.
Surround sounds must sound awesome in that place.
That's from what I've gathered from Seth talking about growing up there. And then they added the second floor, and the second floor had 4 bedrooms actually. Well, no, 3 bedrooms and a spot that they plan to eventually make a second bathroom, and that became a second bathroom after we moved out. So like that room was where Seth kept his computer and desk, and they had Seth's room, his parents' bedroom, and a guest room, and then they built this addition that was probably double the size of the house. That was just a normal square dwelling alongside of it.
They had something circular. They had a cool dome, and they decided to go square.
Yeah, well, they turned the square into the kitchen, and the upstairs was their home office space, because they both are their own business owners. I mean, Seth's dad, they just work for themselves doing electrician.
You get like a triangle building for the garage,
wallpaper.
or
well, what's that? No, they didn't have a garage. They had a parking lot and a barn. Not that they parked in the barn, and then there was also a painting shop.
Did the barn look like an old Wiener Schnitzel? How it's a triangle?
There were a few buildings on that property. There are a few buildings on that property.
Okay.
But they're in the woods. They're out they're off the beaten path. So I think Grammy's house is, if they reach a point that they need to live in town.
Well, yeah. Don't you say you have to wear an orange vest when walking out their house or something?
Oh yeah. You do. Yeah, because the hunters will be around, and I think there was actually a story of someone hanging out their laundry that nearly got grazed by a bullet, and the defense was, well, you weren't wearing your orange. Those white gloves look like a deer tail, and I think there were a lot of people that sympathize with the hunter.
just some jazz hands and the white gloves right here, and get
like,
shot
I live here and you shot at me. What the?
Wow.
So yeah, no, they have orange vests hung by the door, and they basically told me, well, that bright red coat you have, you'll be fine. You don't need, but if you go outside without that coat, make sure you take one of the vests and put that on.
Oh, I don't know.
Beautiful
No, I-
view from their living room window, though.
I'm
with
sure
the
there
mountains in the
is.
background. Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
quite a-
my sister's place in Virginia. You go outside and you can hear the hunters shooting the deer. I don't know why they're not shooting the deer. My sister probably when I was there last time I was there was probably about 6 to 8 deer in their front yard. And there was snake. We had a sky snake that fell from the tree on at us, and we had. Oh goodness, there were rabbits and foxes. She was in the freaking country. Oh my gosh, she was in the country. They have 10 acres. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. But you walk outside, you look, and there's like a buck out there, and there's like deer. There's a baby deer that hangs out underneath the deck, and I'm like, what is that noise underneath us? Oh, it's a baby deer. Oh. And they say no, you can't go down there and say hi. Oh. They got mad because the bunnies kept following me out there by the burrow, and they're like, no, you can't go say hi to them. Oh, look, it's OX64. Yo, yo.
Yo, OX64 in the house.
Yeah.
Right, said, well. So, yeah, still no word. There's not been any word from Brian in the past week, so there's no update on the Brian situation, but he did say he needed a few weeks to step away.
He
and
might be whale
gather
watching
his
this week.
thought. He might be.
Yeah. It's about
He
whale
might-
watching season, so he might be gone.
Could be. He could be. He does do that. He does travel to
Yeah.
Hawaii a few times every year to take in the whales.
That would be my guess.
Yeah. OX64 right again.
Oh,
He's probably got a new Asian woman.
wow. Go Brian.
That Brian, he's got game.
That game, definitely. Well, Dune will be excited. They have a scaffolding right outside my door on my deck every day.
Every day.
Yes, they're working on the deck above me, and they've kind of made, well, now that they're gone because they stop at 5. Well, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, they're gone. They're working on the deck above me, and they did things backwards that I listened to. Right now, they're supposed to do when the deck part was up, they were supposed to do all the wood and the. Oh, sorry, things are messaging me at the same time. No, they're supposed to do the framing and stuff beforehand, and then they didn't do that. They put the deck lid on top of it, and they did the hardening stuff. They put on like 2 or 3 layers of it, blah 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 blah. And then the foreman comes up and says, "What'd you do? What do you mean? All this is rotten. You have to take this out and you have to redo it." And the guy's like, "Well, I just did the deck lid. How am I supposed to?" Well, you're gonna have to figure out how to do that now. So now it's taking 4 times as long to do. So they've been there every single day.
Okay.
Yep. So they're trying to finagle things that are like, well, how am I supposed? Well, just shave off some of this one, see if it fits. I don't know. And the foreman's the first day that happened, the foreman's out there yelling, "Failure! Failure!" He's just yelling, and I'm
That's
sitting there
not
going,
something you want to hear someone yelling.
"No!" And the party guy, he's just yelling, "Failure! Failure!" Dude's verifying stuff. I see.
What's he verifying?
I don't know. He's verifying stuff.
Well, I need Dune to weigh in on something because
Oh, the
I have
scaffolding?
no. I have a picture of someone that I think might be someone that Dune and I might somewhat know something about.
What?
And I want to joke about the picture, but I don't want to come off as a stalker creep either. So
Okay.
so now Dune, are you ready to receive a picture on your messenger with an explanation? And
Dude says, "Oh no!" That means he's ready.
all right. All right, because I did a little. There was a site that we found, and by we I mean me. Although Dune helped provide me some breadcrumbs that led to me finding an
Oh,
old
Sparky wants to
site.
see too.
And anyways, I was curious the other day, and I was thinking, I haven't done more digging on that old site in a while. And I found the Wayback Machine has better options that you can find other things that are under the same URL that may have been archived. And I found a picture that's quite interesting of someone that normally doesn't appear not in a disguise. And so I've shared the real picture with Dune. And now
Okay,
what I'm
dude.
going to do is I'm going to share with you the cartoon picture I made. And Dude will see.
I think dude saw it.
It's okay. He's covering the naughty bits. But we're among friends of a small group, so I don't think this is going to leak out and go viral from here. I'm not going to share the original picture. That to me seems wrong. I'm not going to share the original picture. But what I'm going to share is the parody picture that I had AI generate that is not that. And we're going to do this again. So
For fewer government.
So my dilemma is, and I gotta ask Dune this: do you think I should find a way to share this cartoon with the guy? Do you think he'd find it humorous or creepy? like because So that is a image I've made inspired by a real photo that I found.
He just says Johnny.
So I should just back away from this and forget I ever saw any of this. Oh, Dude doesn't hate this idea. Dude does not hate this idea.
Dude doesn't hate this idea because nothing can be traced back to him. It's fine. It's fine. See, dude has plausible denial. He doesn't have to.
Dude's getting it. Dude gets it. This is something that I think would. I mean, the thing is I think it could be shocking in a funny way, but I also feel like it could be shocking in a creepy way. If I were to somehow slip this into his channel and be like, "Hey, I made a cartoon of you."
I see.
Oh, and this guy still streams all the time. In fact, I watched a bit of his stream last night. Did not build up the nerve to say, "Hey, I made an image of you." Yeah, he had to move, but he's still streaming. I don't know much. He hasn't talked much about his personal life or history. I don't know who's actually in that picture, but that real picture I shared with you was a real picture from a real website that he has wink and nodded confirmed was him.
Okay.
Because I shared a link of something I found in the Wayback Machine, and I actually did ask Deadpool about it. And
Oh, him.
that's right. You can't see.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. So I asked Deadpool about that site I found, and he's like, "What brings up that question?" And I explained to him, "Well, yeah, I was curious. I did a little look, and he said, well, let's just say that there might be things, and let's just say I might have some VHS tapes of old recordings."
Oh.
That's some kind of an action figure on top of his monitor. So he basically did confirm that what I found from the late 90s, early 2000s was him.
Okay. That's cool.
So
You found him.
So he's absolutely, even if it's not actually him in that picture, he knows who's in that picture, or he knows of that picture, or he's seen that. He put that picture on that website.
I see.
So I am 99% sure if I send him this image, he's gonna know what I'm referencing. Unfortunately, that is the only image I could get of that old website off of the Wayback Machine. There were other pictures that were referenced as existing, but they only archived redirects. They didn't archive the original photos. The only photo that was actually archived was the one I sent Dune, which is a great photo.
Oh.
Dune saying, just a sec, I may have some. I figured Dune would be able to come up with a way to do this without seeming like some kind of creepy stalker type. Because that's not how I want to come off. But nothing changes the fact I did do some digging into someone's past to find the picture. But it was not with any malicious thought.
Yeah.
Intent. It's
Yeah,
just
understandable.
curiosity.
Understandable.
You just never know if someone's going to be
once in a while, you go
cool.
searching. Once in a while, you go searching for people. Go, yeah, what do I find about this person? You know, not stalking, just kind of curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that is. The thing is, he certainly ain't wearing a full bodysuit in the original picture.
That's the lounging days. It's fine. Just lounging.
He's rocking the tidy whities in the actual picture.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine.
It's
Sometimes.
it's a great picture. It sounds like it was an interesting community that had done some early. I mean, these people were doing like video commentary streaming in the late 90s, early 2000s. This predates YouTube. This predates the
it's probably podcast. It's probably podcast pickle or something. You know.
pre-podcast. Internet radio streaming was probably a thing then, but video streaming not so much. And so that's something where I'm like, well, this is a story that really deserves to be told. It's just that some of the themes and the topics of the video streams seem to have been a bit
Well, maybe he was
adult
streaming on Justin
entertainment
TV
themed.
back then.
What's that?
Maybe he was streaming on Justin TV back then.
I don't even think that was a thing back then.
Ooh.
That was where Charlie Sheen went to broadcast, right?
Justin TV, probably.
Yeah, he did the Sheen casting there.
Oh God. I don't know. I didn't really watch much Justin TV. I had an account, but and it still works on YouTube. It still works on Twitch. It's fine. I just never log into it.
He promoted the hell out of how he was going to do this stream because everyone was paying attention to his, public
His
breakdown
sheenness?
thing. His
Yeah.
sheenness. When he got fired, he got himself fired from the show, and then he's like, well, I'm going to stream on Justin.tv. And he promotes this thing, and he does a stream that I would describe as worse than my show.
Oh.
And
I mean, that is subjectable, but I'm sure he had the viewers, though.
he had the viewers, but it wasn't good. I mean, he opened up with a few co-hosts and there was like fart sound effects, and like they didn't understand the genre. But then he went on to do this like live tour. I think for fear of Dune claiming that my microphone was cutting out, there were two other streamers on NHB at the time that actually went and caught one of his live shows, and one of them said he thought it was pretty good. And I don't know. I didn't go to see it.
I'm sure you can find that on archive.org. The Wayback Machine.
Well, archive Wayback isn't going to archive actual video streams. I mean, the site and what the site looked like, but the stream, someone probably captured it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's out there somewhere. It's probably
Let's
on
see.
YouTube.
But Justin TV was created in 2007.
Oh.
The site I'm talking about, they ended up having to turn off their services due to expenses in early 2003, I think. So yeah, they were streaming from late 90s to 2003, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a story I want to hear. But
was it Real Media, you think?
oh well,
Because Real Media, they had all of those video things on Real Media as well.
no, it was. See, the more I talk about it, the more I feel like I'm diverging buried secrets that someone might want to leave buried.
Oh no, I'm talking about Sheen, not
Sheen.
yeah, I'm talking about Sheen. Do you think he streamed on? I mean, you said they're. Oh, he was on Justin TV. Oh,
He was
the other
streaming
one,
on Justin TV. This was sometime
Yeah.
after 2008, 2009.
Well, even
around
though
there.
I mean, even though you got to wonder what he streamed on, if it was Real Media or something.
Oh, Real Media was dead by then. We're talking. I mean, by 2007, 2008, Real Media was not relevant for years. No, it was Justin TV. It just streamed through the website.
No, I'm talking about the other one now.
Oh,
I'm hopping, man. Get it going. Come on. I got my ADD switching going. Come on, right now.
usually I'm doing that to Brian, not you doing that to me. Yeah, no, okay. The other one, he had some experience with conference room equipment.
Oh, that's fine. No, I'm just really curious what he streamed on, because I think Real Media was around 2003.
You know what? That's a good question. That is
Yeah.
a very good question.
Yeah.
I mean, but Real Media, did it support live video
Yeah, it did.
stream?
Yeah, it did.
Usually it was on demand stuff. Like, oh my god, remember the Jenny show on the Sync?
Yeah. I also remember that Radio Tiki did a couple Real Media live streams back in the day.
Oh, okay. But by then that was the Audis by then though.
Was it?
Huh. Well, I don't know when they started, but they streamed into. I mean, I discovered them in like 2002, 2003.
Yeah. See,
Sometime
right around that time. Now it was audio only, but I watched the Real Media stuff. I watched live Real Media stuff then.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the Sync was started in '97, but the Sync was on demand, pre-produced videos of very low quality, and I think those were real audio.
Dude, the house
or real
cam, those live house cams
video.
had to have been streaming on something that the females were in. Maybe he used that service.
These are questions I would love to hear answers
Nah,
about.
that stuff probably needs to stay buried. Well, I wouldn't ask him, but
Well, the thing is I think this is a pioneering, I think this era of streaming was a era of two genres being pioneered, because it was video streaming in the late '90s, and it sounds like the community was kind of similar to what they call gooning these days.
oh.
And I'm just gonna.
Oh wow!
That's all
I
I'm
never thought. I never thought I'd ever hear a gator say the word goon ever.
Well, I listened to a podcast.
So
that
are
went
you are you
into
saying
it.
are you saying he had his goon cave in there going? Everybody else is going, watching. Is that what you're saying? I don't want to know.
I listened to a podcast that explained what the real concept of it is, because usually people just think it's some kind of a slang term, but no, it's actually communities of people that. But it's kind of fascinating in a way. Now, Dune writing in that he used to listen to a site called TalkSpot way back.
Oh. What? Oh no.
Sparky writing in, I was on Blog TV. Don't go searching the Wayback Machine. Did you use the same screen name? Anyways, OX64 writing in, Wayback. Was that a show from 1915? Sparky Toaster's pleading the fifth right now.
Nice.
Oh man, but yeah, I remember. I mean, heck, really, yeah, Radio Tiki was a fun show to listen to. They were interesting. But once I discovered NHB, I kind of waned on listening to the radio, because the Radio Tiki
There were Friday nights. That's the problem.
well,
Which was
also
opposite somebody else.
I rarely listen to live content.
Oh,
because
I always try to catch them live.
Yeah.
I always try to catch them live.
Yeah, I didn't revolve my schedule around it. So NHB, I just typically threw on the automation, whereas Radio Tiki had all of their shows archived, and they had streams that would just play shows one after the other. So it wasn't really an automation in the greatest hits sense. It was an automation of listening to full live shows. And not every moment stands. So when you have NHB with hand-picked, curated highlights, and you had Radio Tiki with full shows one after the other, I eventually gravitated more towards the NHB automation, and that's really what kind of sucked me into. Hey, I think I could do this, and yeah.
Well, Radio Tiki was on the exact same time as Sloan, so.
Did they even know that?
No.
I mean,
No, of course not. They didn't
no.
know.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think of the NHB crowd, you're the only other person I ran into that was familiar with Radio Tiki. But they did have
Yeah,
their
kind of odd,
following.
huh?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I
But they did have their following. I mean, they were.
Oh, they had a huge following. They had a pretty big following.
But it was
you know.
niche. It's not. I mean, it's a huge following, but it's not a household name.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, it comes down to the low fidelity of audio streaming of the day that had me discovering humor content, because I reinstalled Winamp one day, and it had
Still
like
run Winamp.
it was, yeah, me too. And when I did the reinstall, that's when it was like promoting like that you could listen to live streams, and I'm like, well, this is cool. I mean, heck, I remember when I was in college, I thought the concept of live streaming music over the internet was kind of cool. There used to be a Grateful Dead real audio stream that would just stream Grateful Dead bootlegs one after the other 24/7, and I was never a huge.
I don't think I could ever. I'm glad somebody listened to that.
Well, I was never big into the Grateful Dead, but it's not like I had a lot of internet radio streams to choose from in the mid to late 90s, like 97 to around there. So in 97, when I discovered this site that's just streaming Grateful Dead bootlegs 24/7, it's like, well, here's an option I have on my computer that I can just bring up to randomly play some random music at some point in time, and that was really cool. And so I didn't listen to it for long periods of time. And then around that time, KTEL was trying to get their website promotions running, and they had an audio stream, but it ran like the same few hours on the loop. So once you listen to the few hours,
like the radio.
What's that?
Like the radio.
Well, no, this was a literal loop, not just repeating the similar content live. But similar, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. It just come around full circle to a loop, is what it would do. In fact, I remember, but they would feature different things, like, because at that time KTEL had acquired Bobby Sherman's catalog, so there was like a half hour or hour long block that was just promoting Bobby Sherman, and then there was a block where they were promoting the Bacon Brothers. What?
Why would you want to listen to Kevin Bacon singing?
With his brother, the Bacon Brothers.
Why?
Why? I had only heard of that from two places. One, the KTEL radio station that was promoting it. I'm thinking that they actually recorded and produced that album. And some years later, I was working at Walmart, and some guy actually came up to me and said, "Do you have a CD of the Bacon Brothers?" And I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that in a while. No, I'm sorry. It's like, oh, it's such a good album. That's one of those ones you just put that on, you crack open the first beer, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm sorry, though. He can't help you with that. But if you I don't recall it being very good. I usually turn the stream off.
Is that a KTEL album you don't have?
I don't have much of their '90s output, or 2000s
Oh, I
output.
just figured you had all K-Tel.
I don't have everything. I have a lot. It's hard to be a completist on anything. There's so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh my God! The Bacon Brothers live in 2024. Apparently, they're still doing a thing. Let's see. Here's the official music video. I guess this music video's got some non-music intro. Although it looks like
Bottom
this
of a
release
whiskey
might.
jug. Why is it?
How many albums have they had? Have they still been releasing albums?
Wow, Gators, you're behind.
I'm okay with being behind on the Bacon Brothers output.
He used to love my lovers and my friends.
Wow, Phil Bacon.
He used to say, you want your work day done, you gotta get up and begin it.
They've put out 10 albums from 97 to
You're behind.
2024.
Are they all K-Tel?
I don't know if any of them are. You know what? I gotta. That's their Wikipedia page isn't saying what label. I'm gonna have to check the Discogs.
Either that or you have to edit their Wikipedia now.
That won't be necessary.
Oh. Okay.
But let's see. I'm not actually seeing K-Tel listed on any of these albums, so I'm not sure how they ended up being promoted. They must be on a label that's owned by K-Tel or has an association with K-Tel.
Sparky has another link for you, Gators.
We'll get there. Let's see. Bluxo Records is what their first album was on. And that's based out of New York. And basically what a lot of their albums were on. Yeah, I don't know why they were being promoted by K-Tel. I don't. I might have to do a little searching on that if I cared enough. Anyways, let's see. Sparky sent a link. Let me open up a new tab for that. And take a look at. He sent in 2 links. He sent a link for a retro computer T-shirt. That is cool. That is a cool T-shirt. I'd wear that. And he sent a link of Elf on the shelf sitting on a piece of toast.
Okay, that's fine.
Elf on toast.
It's fine.
Looks like he's holding or hurt his knee or something. I
Poor Elf.
Yeah. Not sure what is going on there.
Oh, I didn't do it.
But is leaning up against a toaster. Could be sparking some.
Oh.
I don't know. Or, maybe the elf got his leg caught in the toaster with the toast. I don't know. I'm not getting this one. I'm not getting what the reference here is in this image.
I don't know. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. I didn't do it.
Speaking of not being able to see the picture, I was listening to a podcast today that was talking about some controversy with the self-driving cars or the self-driving taxis, the Waymos.
Yeah. They're kind of neat.
Yeah. Well, it's been an issue in Boston. 'Cause Boston traditionally is union town, and so like the
yellow cabs and everything here. Yeah.
Well, the drive share drivers are putting a union together, and now Waymo wants to come in. And they're like, well, what happens to our jobs? And so there's been lots of hearings about that. Mm-hmm. But a community that has really come out in strong defense of the Waymo is the disabled community.
Yeah,
because
very
they
true.
have. So this is true that rideshare tends to not work, like, because they had complaints that like rideshare drivers tend to not want to pick them up. Or,
Oh, no. What the thing is, I'll tell you the main reason is,
Okay.
especially if you have a service animal, they don't want to pick you up.
right, that was the big one.
That's the
was
big
said.
one is the service animal stuff.
that-
It's been a big thing for many years about that because if in the app you can say if you're now you can say if you're disabled or whatever else. I don't even put that. I say they said, do you have any extra comments? Got a cane, look for me, whatever, don't care. You can have a picture of it. I don't have my picture up there. I don't do anything. But they're usually pretty good here. They pick me up, they go. But if you have a service animal, they'll drive by a lot of times because they don't want animals in their car. No matter
Right.
how much that people bring blankets and stuff like that, so they don't get hair in the car, And Waymo is completely accessible. There's an accessible button. You push the button. You tap your phone to the thing. You get in. It says, "Okay, hello, I'm your Waymo. Don't touch the steering wheel." And it'll say what Spotify station do you want. You can set that up on your phone, and it'll tell you the location you're at as you go, the cross streets and stuff. It's pretty accessible. It's pretty neat. I've used it twice. I've used it twice. It's kind of
Okay.
fun. It's kind of neat. I should record it someday.
Now, do you see yourself someday as this evolves, maybe owning
I would do it in a
self-driving
heartbeat.
car?
I'd buy one in a heartbeat. Waymo is pretty. It's a little freaky because you're sitting in the back seat with nobody there.
Right.
There's a button to call somebody if you have to call somebody. Like, oh, my Waymo's turning around 360 into the parking lot. There's a button you can push. Say, yo. There's an error. Check it. Whatever. Or when the power went out in San Francisco, the Waymos didn't know what to do because the traffic lights went out in the middle of the cross section, so it just stopped. It's like, well, what do we do?
Well,
'Cause
that's better than continuing.
Yeah, it just didn't know what to do.
Right.
And there have been errors with it. Sometimes they'll pass school buses or something like that, or there's been accidents. There have been accidents, and I'm not saying that Waymo's not perfect.
The thing that they keep stressing, though, is that their safety record is better than human drivers, and that's part of the future they're trying to promise, is a future with less human.
I don't know if you can promise that at this point in.
Well, that's the angle. That's
They're
one of their
working
angles.
on that. They're working on that, and I think that their generation is really good because what's nice about them is they're using lidar. They're using stuff, and the stuff that Tesla has disabled in all their cars, which is stupid because they're like, oh yeah, we'll have self-driving, but they disabled the actual sensors that do all the best freaking they disable lidar. LiDAR is the best way to do it because it goes through fog. It goes through everything else.
Well, why do they disable that?
Because someone's retarded.
Okay.
I can't say that, but someone's special. I'm sorry, I did not mean to offend anybody. Someone's very special.
Oh no, as I understand it, that word's back in it. No, kidding.
Oh, I'm not. Someone's special. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And so they're working on that, and now they're like, oh well, it's not really autonomous. That's what he's saying.
Well, yeah, the Tesla is being sold as a with human behind the
Yeah.
wheel.
No, what you can leave the Waymo if you need to, no matter what. There's a way to get out. That's not a problem. But to get in, it's kind of interesting. You get it, you can have it either NFC, which you tap your phone to it and it opens it up, or you can have there's a button on it you can push. There's a button, and it's I just tap my phone to it. It's easy. And they go, do you want to put stuff in your trunk? You tap the trunk, you put stuff in there. I usually have a backpack, so it's not a big deal with me. I just take it in the car with me.
Right.
But it opens the door. It says, welcome, your name, whatever. And then you go. And then, actually, it's funny. It says mine, sir, because, in the app, I'm Sir Mars, which is kind of hilarious. So he goes, welcome, sir. I'm like, yes, thank you. But no,
Welcome, Mr. Mars. May I call you sir?
yeah, no. And if you want to get out, there's an exit button. You can push it. You can do an emergency escape if you need to. That's not a problem.
It's locked from the outside, so someone can't get. But from the inside, you can unlock or open.
Yeah.
And do a little tuck and roll if you need to.
Well, I also have a glass breaker on my keychain.
Oh, that
So-
well, there you go. Actually, will it even let you open it while it's in motion, or does it have to come to a complete stop before it'll let
From
you
what I
open?
understand, there's safety things you can take over. I think at some point if you really need to, you have the steering
Okay.
wheel. I'm not doing that because I would just steer into something. But if you need to open the door, I think it slows down and pulls over to the side if you open it. Don't
I see.
quote me on that. But that's what I think that's what that does.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
But if you're in the middle of the freeway and it's going 60 miles an hour and you try to open the door, it would probably have a little attack.
But
First of
well,
all, if it's going 60 miles an hour in the freeway and I open the door, I need to jump and tuck and roll, then there's some holy crap happening anyway.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That there would be. Because who knows what you're tucking and rolling into.
Probably a semi-knowing me.
Uh,
It's like,
I don't know. You did a good job dodging that light pole. You probably weave right out of the truck's way at the last minute.
And so I've used it. It's kind of interesting. So what is the price? And well, rideshare is fine too. If I'm using Uber or Lyft, I have no problem with Lyft either. But yeah, the thing is, they and there is a service for accessibility if you have special needs or something. They'll send you a van. They will do that. But
apparently
that's
it's harder to get someone to show up. I mean,
You're
those
exactly
fares
right. They're exactly right.
So there is a bit of a annoyance there
Yeah.
among that community that they have these challenges, and here Waymo offers them a better option. So
Well, if
apparently
it goes to your
that's-
area, I can go to my sister's, but certain areas I can't go to because it's partially the Bay Area is covered, but not partially it's not. If I wanted to go to San Jose, I couldn't go from here. It's not enabled there. It will be extended once they get the roads everything mapped perfectly, and they're starting to use freeways and stuff, which is interesting. Because before they were just using back roads, now they're using freeways, which is good. And they're going everywhere. Like they're in Florida, they're in Boston now, as you said. They're in Japan. They're in Asian countries.
Well, I don't think they're in
you know.
Boston yet. They're trying to
Oh.
get into Boston, but they're trying
Yeah.
to block them from. It's one of those difficult things because I mean, like, you don't. There are technologies that have rendered jobs obsolete throughout the years and the
I don't think it's
generation.
gonna render. I don't think it's gonna render Uber or Lyft obsolete because I think the
Well,
the-
not
that-
overnight, but I think it will. I think it inevitably will at some point.
Yeah, you know what? Watch the TV show Upload. I'll tell you that. That's all I'm gonna
Okay.
say.
I'm just saying
It's
that
on Amazon Prime Video.
if
It's a
what
pretty
they're
good show.
promising here is true, that driverless cars have better safety records than driver-based cars. I mean,
Maybe.
that is. I mean, you fast forward, we're going to reach a point where driverless cars is going to be the norm for anyone. I don't think people will only drive if they really want to, and even then, if we reach a point where the majority of cars are driverless and drivers are causing the majority of the accidents, is society going to tolerate that? I mean, I'm talking big picture. I mean, there are some people that say 5 years. I'm thinking it might be longer than that.
I say 10 to 15 years.
I mean,
5 years is too soon.
Well, 5 years might be the part where it becomes more normalized, but it's not going to
I
be
think 5
everywhere.
years-
But you're going to have to go out at least 20 before you get to a tipping point.
I think 5 years you'll start mapping more areas.
Yeah.
But whether it's going to be super common, I don't know. I'll take one. If I could get one myself, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Just because it would be good transportation. I wouldn't have to take Lyft, or I wouldn't have to take other transportation to get to places. It would be more independent. So I would take that in a heartbeat. And think of it this way, Gators. You could have your after work you could go drinking with your friends at whatever. Get in your driver car and just say take me home, and then wake up passed out with your laptop bag and just walk in your driveway.
There is that.
There's that. Honestly, it might actually help with drunk driving too. Honestly,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
That
Just
would.
you're gonna have to clean up your own car.
There's
Just
that.
saying.
There's
Yeah.
that.
I think there's a lot of positives. I think there's a lot of negatives that are going through. I like the fact there's automated cars coming out. I think that's neat. It when I take a Waymo, do I have this anxiety? Well, yes, I do agree with that,
No,
Sparky. I
Sparky
do agree with
says
that.
it's more fun when Johnny
Yeah.
takes a train and walks 5 blocks home
Yeah,
drunk.
yeah.
That is always an option.
Yeah.
I just think that the big problems that we're focusing on when it comes to the driverless technology, the automation, and the AI, these are more societal problems that we don't really. Our current system doesn't care if there's enough jobs for everyone. It doesn't care if the opportunity is there for everyone to have opportunity. It only cares about reducing cost, whatever the consequences. And that's going to be a societal problem if we don't find a way to ensure that people can provide for themselves.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have the answers there. It's just that I do think it is worthwhile to have these dialogues about, do we let this in the city? Because inevitably the answer is going to be yes. But at
Yeah,
least
they'll let
there's
'em in.
some
They'll let 'em
at
in.
least there's some discussion about what are we supposed to do when you take our jobs away. That's a dialogue worth having.
I want to say that Waymo was working with.
What-
Well, okay. No, I think there was an article. I can't remember what it was. I can't find it. But I think it was about Waymo and Uber actually working together on some of this stuff.
Now, Sparky writing in the future there will be national income when AI takes all the jobs. I mean, I'm in favor of concepts like that, and I would think that if automation and AI really takes as many jobs as because I don't think anyone's got any real idea what this really looks like. It's a whole lot of speculation based off of in real data and real things we're seeing. The thing is that how do we get to the point of national income? Because there's certainly no appetite for it within our current system or Congress.
Hey, Gators,
That's socialism, and that's a
about
dirty word.
How about we get national gas prices that are the same everywhere? How's that first? I think a gallon of gas in California is over $7 now.
Well, a lot of that has to do with state taxes.
Yeah, that's true too. But yeah, I
mean,
just think
that's part of the cost of living in California. You have great weather year round, but you got to throw a few extra bucks every gallon of gas.
And most people I talk to, it's funny, Sparky. I take a lot of Lyft and I take a lot of Uber to a lot of places, and number one, prices have gone up since they've unionized, and I have no problem. I'm glad they're unionizing, and I'm glad they're doing stuff because they need more money and they need more rights in what they do. And they've been kind of squished around with the gig economy, honestly, and I'm happy
Yeah.
for it. The problem is it's more expensive now. The prices got jacked up because of that. It was twice as much to go somewhere for a while. It's gone down a little bit, which is good. But I've talked to a lot of drivers about this, and they're like, and I asked a couple of them, what do you think of Waymo? They're like, that's great technology. I think it's awesome. I go, what do you think it's going to do with your job? They're like, well, most people I talk to do it as a second income, or they're retired, and they're like, yeah, I don't do this full time. I couldn't drive full time.
They don't have as much to lose there. So,
Yeah, exactly. They don't have as much to lose. Just the people I've talked to. Now, most people I talk to drive for, and I can't say Lyft or Uber because they usually drive for both. They usually have both apps.
Oh
open
yeah,
at the same
you
time.
install both apps on your phone if you're going to do it.
For a while, it was like I drive for Lyft or I drive for Uber. Now it's agnostic. They're like, I have both apps. I run them both. It's fine.
I mean, heck, I've seen people that were driving like taxis that also have the Uber and Lyft that they've just added it. They do it all.
Oh, how does a taxi company like that one?
I don't know. I know that one of the Uber I took from.
I know Yellow Cab is pretty.
This ain't a yellow cab. This wasn't a like city taxi. But when I was down in I think it was the Miami area where I went for that Microsoft conference.
Oh, yeah.
When I was hanging out at that club with Nordine, and we decided to get a cab back to, or to get an Uber back to the hotel, and then the girl that was chatting up and dancing with Nordine talked him into staying. He's like, "Look, you take the Uber. I'm gonna stay here." It wasn't a yellow cab, but it had a taxi sign on the car, and it also had so this guy was clearly driving for some kind of. It could have been a self-employed taxi service.
Maybe they could do that.
And he just when the business went to the apps, he installed the apps.
Now, did Nordine make it that next morning? Did you see him next morning after that?
He did make it back next morning, and then when I saw him the next morning, I asked him how things went, and he got a little defensive, like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Well, because he has a girlfriend."
Oh, that's why he was like, "Whoa, what? What are you talking about?" It's like, oh.
And to be fair, it could have been totally innocent. We went to this club, this dance
If he was
club.
that defensive, you think that was innocent?
Well, that's the only reason I think it might not have been so. I don't know. Well, let me tell the story. So we were there for this convention, and Enernoc was very generous with their expense reports. So they would let you do fun things.
Dude. Dude, all I'm gonna say is dude said no.
You know what? That's probably a safe bet to place. That's probably. So we go out. We go out. I think we had dinner at this nice Mexican place. We had tableside guac made for us.
That's nice.
Oh yeah. Oh, wonderful. And but the Uber driver that drove us there, Nordine, was asking like, "Where's the cool hangout spots here?" And she recommended this dance club bar place. So after we had the Mexican, we went looking for it, and we found it. And we went to the bar. We ordered some drinks, and this woman starts chatting us up because she wanted to dance, and apparently she was in the process of getting divorced. Her husband was an airline pilot who was having an affair with one of the they don't call them stewardesses anymore.
They call them flight attendants.
Flight attendants, yes. Because, well, she did this whole guessing game. Like, ex-husband, divorced, he was a pilot. Guess who's having
she was on the rebound. He was a rebound guy.
Right, yeah, she was definitely on the... And I think she had a kid, and this was like her first time to get out throughout this divorce process because someone was watching the kids that night. So this was her... Like she needed this night out, and she was just out to have a good time and have fun, and she's telling us these stories. She's like, guess who he was having the affair with, and Nordine just goes a blank look, and she looks over to me, "Come on, guess," and I'm like, "What? The flight attendant, right?" And she's like, "Bingo." And she asked me, "Hey, will you dance with me?" I'm like, I would put you to shame. I can't dance. But Nordine was willing to dance with her because she just wanted to dance. She didn't, she just wanted to. She was dancing with, So she bought us some drinks. We bought her some drinks. We were hanging out.
She did a dance later on, we'll probably say.
And so then at some point, Nordine's like, "All right, maybe we go back now. You ready to go?" Yeah. Okay. So Nordine orders the Uber. The Uber shows up, and then we're going there. Nordine's like, "She asked me to stay. She doesn't want to be here alone. She's going through things. I'm gonna stay, spend some more time with her. You could go ahead and you could go back." You know what? I don't think that's how this story really went. I don't think after he put in the Uber, she asked him to stay. I think before he put in the Uber, she said, "Dude, could you find a way to ditch your friend?" I think that's
what they might have gotten their own Uber.
Oh, they definitely did, because when the Uber showed up, he's like, "Oh, I changed my mind. I'm going to stay. you go ahead and take the Uber, which was a perfect way to ditch me. And
Yeah.
you know what? I didn't care because I'm not exactly the club scene guy. I was having a few drinks and I was ready to go back to the hotel. I mean, dude could have said, hey, I'm going to get laid. Could you get an Uber out of here? And I would have been like, see you tomorrow. You know, he didn't need to do this, but
he was a little nonchalant about it, and I appreciate that. That
Yeah.
was
But-
classy. It was classy.
But it's possible that it was just the actual story that I was told, that he ordered the Uber and she convinced him to stay. All I know is the next day when I asked him about it, he was like, "What? What are you talking about?" You know, and I'm like, "Well, what were you? How did things go with the girl?" You know.
Yeah.
Sparky ready to get, but I'm not sure we're. That's going back to the whole base income. There's a lot of questions to be asked there. Sparky Redigan, Nordine sounds like a Flip Wilson name of one of his skits.
There you go.
Reverend Leroy, Geraldine, and Nordine. Oh, Nordine sounds like a male Geraldine. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, I realize telling this story, it's not like I'm using a common name like Joe or Mike.
Yeah, but how many Nordines are there? Come on.
How many Nordines in Boston are there? At least one, and possibly only one, although he doesn't actually live in Boston.
How many Nordines are in Massachusetts, honestly?
But if anyone's been paying attention to this show, I have referenced the fact that I thought he was absolutely nuts because he would bike from Providence to Boston to commute.
Hey, you know what? The boy was in shape.
So that's a freebie for you.
The boy was in shape. That's awesome.
There's a reason why she asked him to stay and to ditch me.
Yeah. Well, he asked you to. She asked you to dance first, right?
She asked both of us to dance, not at the same time. I don't know which one she asked first. But I think Nordine might have turned her down at first, but maybe she talked him into it.
Yeah.
Now, Sparky asking if Ten knows Nordine. I don't think Ten's ever met Nordine, or anyone. I think Ten's only met one of my coworkers from that job. That was a guy on the on the sysadmin team named Damien, because when we came back from vacation, we needed to pick up some groceries, and that's when we found out that he shops at the same grocery store. We ended up behind him in line, and so we
He's
got
like,
to-
"Oh, good, you're home. Now you can go back to work tomorrow."
I don't think he even noticed I was on vacation. He was one of those dudes that was friendly and was polite, but I could tell the dude hated me. Most of the sysadmin team hated me because I kept asking them to do their job.
Oh.
They wanted any ticket that came to the service desk to never come to them.
Well,
And I was
doesn't anybody? Isn't that what work is called? No, please don't send me anything.
I was the senior service desk, and I was the only senior service desk, meaning all the other three service desk people, they didn't report to me, but they turned to me for help if they needed help. And so ultimately, if there was a ticket that was a problem, it ended up in my queue, so I could do whatever I could with it. And if I couldn't do anything with it, or if I determined it was something I didn't have access to, or was something that was a system issue, it was always me that had to send the service desk tickets to the sysadmins that would need to get sent there. So the sysadmins classified me as problematic because I kept sending them work that they felt that they shouldn't have to get from me.
Well, someone's got to do it.
And the head of the service desk was Nordine, who was friends with all the sysadmins and would eat lunch with them every day. I mean, it was pretty casual. We all ate lunch together. But Nordine made a point to, like, he hung out with these guys. They were buddy. They were chummy. So if they were going to shit talk me to him, he was going to take their side because they're the bros. So that's part of the reason why me and Nordine had a very adversarial work relationship, because he wasn't backing me and he wasn't siding with me, even though I wasn't in the wrong. I was trying to get things done that were beyond my control and needed to be escalated.
Yeah, where are you supposed to take it? You gotta escalate somehow, right?
And you know, it's one of those things where it's maddening when you're there, because if you spend a year, 6 months to a year, being told you're wrong all the time for doing these things, you start to question, am I the problem? And I think it's healthy to ask yourself that from time to time. But then when I got my current job, that only confirmed that no, I was not the problem. They were the problem. But Nordine was a nice enough guy to have a beer with and chill with at the club. I mean, that's the thing. Even though our work relationship was adversarial, we still got along on a personal level well enough.
Oh, that's good.
Not well enough to stay in touch after the job, of course, you know.
Oh, so you don't invite him over for like a turkey dinner or something?
Hell no, I never want to see the guy again. But if I had to, I'd have a beer with him and put on a smile and find something to chat with him about. I don't hate him, but I don't like him.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. Indifference. I disliked his management style. But I didn't hate him as a person or dislike him as a person. But I certainly didn't like him. Pragnosis writes in, dude, they just aired the NHB episode when you went to Damon's house. You sound so much vascular now. Well, that could be how I'm EQing my bike.
Yeah.
But my voice has probably changed over the years. Sparky writing in, hate is a strong word. That it is. Now, I've been to Damon's house a handful of times. There was the first time I went there when I was actually on DEF CON before I came back from my first exile. And I think that was what Rich was there. I think Paul was there. I think it was Damon, Paul, Rich, and then I was there as a guest. There was a few times I went there with 10. So yeah, I seem to recall there was one show where somehow some link was sent that had some X-rated material of the disgusting nature, and to me the obvious punchline was to say, oh, you could get an infection doing that, as if that was the biggest problem with what I was seeing on the screen.
You know, that's probably what I'd say.
I mean, it had to do with waste going in places where it ought not to go.
Oh yeah, that's unhygienic.
You could get it. No, you could get an infection from that. I was like, that is.
Oh, I'll be right there. Scared the crap out of me. I'm coming.
And but yeah, no, that was
Yes.
it was always fun to go over to
Thank you very much.
Damon's house.
You have a good day.
Oh, dinner's here. So what's for dinner?
Right over there.
Let's find out.
Sorry about that.
Hey, what's for dinner?
No, that was Amazon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, what was I talking about? There was another time I went there, and there was another girl there
Wow.
that was friends with Damon.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't obvious what the nature of the friendship was, if this was a girlfriend or a potential girlfriend or just a friend. But I forget how that went. I feel like she was there during the show, but I don't know if she was on the show or not, or if she was just observing. But I remember after the show, we turned off the mics. We kind of shut things down, and it's around the time when I should be, getting in my car, getting back to my parents' house, because this would be the only times I was on shows at Damon's house is when I was visiting my parents and had an evening to get away. And this girl kind of asked if I was going to stick around after, and the way she said it was mostly neutral, but there's a little hint of, like there was a little question of what is she suggesting?
Yeah. Well.
And I'm like, why does she want me to stick around? Is she trying to get a little devil's threesome going on here, or does she just want to hang out? And I wasn't going to ask that question, but Damon pretty quickly said, "Nah, I think he needs to get going." I'm like, "Yeah, I should get going." And so, no, not a please save me. I think there might have been
Please save me.
I think there might have been some plans for the evening, and I think maybe she was open to inviting someone else.
I see.
But I could have very much been, and I was definitely not anywhere close to sure about that. It was just kind of this weird little, "Hey, are you sticking around?" And Damon's like, "No, he's got to leave."
Damon's like,
"No, get out. Our balls are not touching. Get out."
hilarious.
That's the funny way to tell that story, anyways.
Yeah.
Dude ready to get he blink blocked you. Dude pointing out their words. Calm down. But yeah, it was always a fun time. And then there was one time, I guess when I was going to Damon's house, I felt more free to just kind of be in the Johnny Gators character. Although the Johnny Gators character is very much based on my real life, just a more extreme and free-flowing version of it. So one time, so I get to Damon's house one time, and of course, anyone that was an NHB listener knew that Damon's dad was always referred to as God on the show, and he knew that was his name on the show, and he had acknowledged this at least multiple times. So I'm like, if I'm going to be Johnny Gators, I'm in on the gags. It's all fair game. So I ring the doorbell, and Damon's dad opens up the door. And I'm like, "Oh, hey, I'm here to see Damon." He's like, "Hey, Damon, your friend's here." And so then I said to him, "So you must be God." And
You got some mod going on.
he said not a word, turned around, and walked away. That was the end of any exchange I ever had with Damon's dad. "You must be God." No word, silence, walked away. I was like, "Ooh. He must not like that."
Oh.
But yeah, we had some good times. And then, of course, there was a time we visited before we drove off across the country. That was a fun show. But yeah. Anyways, speaking of nostalgia and taking a trip down memory lane, I decided to upgrade my living room's cassette playback situation.
What do you have 4 cassettes you can play at once? What?
Well, up until this point, I only had one cassette playback unit in my living room, which is the top-loaded cassette player that's in my 70s era Fisher receiver that I have the line output hooked up to an auxiliary input of the modern receiver that feeds everything there. And 70s top-loading cassette deck is not the most sophisticated. Now I did it has a pretty steady playback. There's no whoa or flutter on it. And I was able to fine-tune the speed adjustment with a test tape to get the playback speed accurate because it was running a little slow. But it has no Dolby settings or bias settings or things like that. And, it's a fairly primitive cassette player.
No bass boost?
No bass boost. No LED meters. And so I thought to myself, it would be really nice. What would be really nice visually and functionally would be to have a nice dual cassette deck in the living room. Nice 80s vintage dual cassette deck. And I was like...
Wait, is it going to have high-speed dubbing?
Funny you should mention that. It does have high-speed dubbing. I don't know how to fine-tune the calibration of that properly, though. And that's an issue, actually.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine. So I had to buy two. So I was looking for something that looked like the dual cassette deck from my dad's rack unit he bought in the 80s. And I was like, well, why look for something like it when you can look for the actual thing? And so the first one I bought was in really rough shape, kind of falling apart. One of the channels was kind of dead and having noise issues. So I went and I looked for another one, get a better starting point, a better cosmetic condition. Now, the thing about my dad's stereo unit was a Technics rack system. Tuner, amplifier, graphic EQ, dual cassette deck, and a turntable on the top, and room to add a CD player, which he did add later. So the thing that I didn't realize till I bought these units is that the cassette decks connected to the amplifier with a proprietary ribbon cable.
Oh.
So I had to drill some holes in the back and mount some RCA connectors onto the back of it, and cut the ribbon cable and solder the connections on using the service guide to figure out the wiring, and basically convert it to a standard cassette deck that I could hook up to my receiver. And then both of the decks were running slow, so I got my calibration tape and I calibrated them. And then the left deck is working good, but the right deck speeds up after about a minute of playback after something warms up. So I don't know if I got a bad variable resistor on there. That's the easiest thing I could try to swap out. Or a bad capacitor or a few capacitors somewhere that's causing some motor power supply issues. But I got it working pretty good. So I actually sent doing a little video of it. So I have it here in my Facebook. Let me and then he didn't reply until I reached out again. That was all good. Here we go. Here's my oh, you're gonna mute. Oh, what are you doing? There we go. See, it's got those LED meters. Got that deep bass. So yeah, got it working pretty good. I'm rocking in the 80s here. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with how that came out. At least, I mean, 1 out of 2 of the cassette players working is enough, because I don't plan on actually doing any tape dubbing. But one of the things about that tape deck is that each cassette deck has 2 speed adjustments, because the high-speed dubbing speed adjustment is a separate adjustment from the regular playback adjustment. And that means that you have to find a way to get the record side to play back in high speed mode, to actually play a test tone in high speed mode, to fine tune it, to make sure that that's and I'm sure there's a procedure for that, or probably a point on the board that you could connect a meter to. But I'm just using a phone app to dial in 3 kilohertz off my test tape. Oh, X64 is singing along. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how it's adequate, but I do want to figure out how to get the right side working more stable so that they're both working. Sparky writing in, are the speed adjustments on the front of the unit No, you got to take the case off, but they are easily accessible with the case off. They're attached. Each cassette unit has a board on the back of it that's kind of got a cutout where the motor's popping through, and on those boards are two trim pots that are basically 10 kilo ohm variable resistors with 3 prongs. I could probably just replace all 4 of those with modern equivalent, because I did spray a little deoxit on them and do a little twisty back and forth and then dial them in again to see if that would stabilize things. Left side still running stable. Right side still speeds up after things warm up, which makes me think it's not necessarily a power supply issue, because the same power supply would be powering both decks. Although I guess there could be...
Would it be a resistor problem?
It could be. I mean, the simple thing I could do is just swap the 2 variable resistors from the high speed and the normal and see if that fixes the problem. If that fixes the problem, then I know that it was the variable resistor, and now the high-speed dubbing's going to not work right, which is only a problem if I ever want to high-speed dub some tapes, which I'd have to figure out how to calibrate that anyways.
Can you buy those?
By what? You could buy modern equivalent of 10. I mean, they're 10 kilo ohm trim pots. The thing is that I'm worried that the legs might not align perfectly, and I might have to do a little bit of bending tiny metal legs to align to holes. But I do have a desoldering iron at this point, so it's pretty easy to just take one off and put it back on.
Mm-hmm.
And Sparky suggesting put tape. Well, I'm thinking of put a tape on the right side, just run it for 5 hours straight to loosen things up. OX64 pointing out that's what she said.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, is I think just about any cassette deck that's 40 years old probably could do with a belt replacement kit.
Probably, because that belt's probably like crusty and not as loose as it used to be.
The problem is that that's not the most easy job to do. A lot of times you got to dig into the mechanical parts to access, because it's a multi-belt situation. So it'd be a kit. It'd be taking apart small mechanical parts. The last time I tried to do a belt kit on a cassette deck, there was cursing, there was screaming, there was a pile of parts near the back door of the basement that's going into the garbage can one of these days. So
how big is that pile right now?
Well, most things don't make it to the garbage pile. I have to get really angry to vow to throw something out.
Okay.
So it's just 2 broken cassette decks that maybe the cases could host some kind of a modern Pi thing to make a vintage-looking Pi player, but I have no practical use for such a thing. So, and the power buttons I'm missing on them anyways.
Could you steal the resistors out of those?
If they have 10 kilo ohm trim, but then again, we're dealing with replacing 40-year-old trim pots with another set of 40-year-old trim pots. I really should just buy new ones if I'm going to replace them.
True.
But like I said, I think what I'm going to do next weekend is swap the high speed and the normal speed trim pots, because they're both 10 kilo ohm trim pots.
Oh, okay.
And see if the problem persists or not. And if the problem persists, it's probably not a trim pot issue. I probably need to start digging into capacitors, which, that wouldn't be that hard to do now that I have a desoldering iron. But I am considering trying to find...
Look for the bloaty ones and sit there and say that one's leaking a little bit. I think it's time to change it.
Well, nothing looks obviously leaking, but that doesn't mean that they're operating to spec or they're not having a problem when they get warm.
True.
But I think there might be a local person that does some audio repair that might work on vintage equipment in Rhode Island that I'm going to call up and see how much he'd charge to do a belt replacement on the unit, because that's a job that'd be worth throwing money at someone to...
Are you going to ask him if he fixes Philcos?
No. That's still on my to-do pile.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna one of these days look up what can resistors it needs and just buy a set of can resistors.
You
Get
buy
the-
like 30 of them and say, okay, we just replace that.
Well, heck, no. Actually, the big electrolytic can resistors is probably more like 5 of those. Although they have multiple resistors within each can. But I think that's the guy who sold it to me. He had gotten it working, but he mentioned that he didn't replace the electrolytics. So that to me seems like a good starting point. If I'm not going to recap the whole thing, is to just change out those cans and see if that gets a stable picture or not.
Yeah.
But again, one of these days, I still need to work on the 1949 Zenith that's in pieces on my workbench, and the
You gotta
1950.
fix one of those. You gotta play duck hunting on something.
Oh, I got the 32-inch Sony Trinitron in the
Dude,
dining room.
those suck for duck hunt. You know that the flat screens don't work right.
Oh, it works fine. I played plenty of Duck Hunt on that TV. It works fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
Sony Trinitron's a great TV for Duck Hunt.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the high def ones that get into problems.
I never had a high def Sony Trinitron.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if but there were CRTs that were high def.
As long as it had the little button when you push it, it goes boom and made the picture go crazy. I like that. That was my favorite button on those things. Everything with
Oh, the
purple and yellow and green and orange and
The
whatever.
degauss.
I like the degauss button.
The degauss button.
I'd hit the degauss button all the time.
Does Momo like the degauss button?
And Momo loves the degauss button.
Well, Momo wants some treats is what Momo wants.
What?
Usually sometime between 8 and 9 o'clock is when they get treats, except for a Monday when I keep rambling on like an idiot in front of this black thing. But
Oh, I'm sorry, Momo.
isn't that right, Momo? Momo wants her treats. I'm surprised Shaniko hasn't come in hanging out in the doorway looking at me. Maybe sometimes if I get too relaxed in this chair and don't give them the treats, Shaniko will actually come over and start batting at my leg with her
Ha
paw.
ha. It's like, excuse me, you forgot about us. We want our treats. What's your problem?
You exist for food.
And that's it.
Now do your thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Doing it again. Johnny fiddles with stuff just like I do. Both our hobbies smoke and make sound.
Oh. That's true.
There is
But-
some truth there.
But there's a difference in this. Dunes has a case.
Dunes does have a case. Well, my cassettes are in a cassette case.
Wait, do your cassettes smoke?
Well, it depends what you mean by smoke. I mean, yeah, some of those tunes smoke. They smoke. They rock. I mean,
Oh.
yeah. But I don't have any good conference room stories this week, unfortunately.
What? Is everything working perfectly in your Paul Revere?
Yeah. No.
Well, they didn't take that thing down, so you have
But-
to work on it again.
But I did have a new hire laptop issue this morning
Ooh. Okay.
because we had 2 new employees starting today, and we had laptops spun up for both of them, and so one of them's a new security guy. So I had started spinning up that laptop last week, and I knew that it would just take half hour to an hour to set up the profile, and that the training's at 10 o'clock, and I get in the office at 7:30. So I have plenty of time to get the profile built. So I get in this morning, get his account, get his password reset to a temp password, sign in as him, build his profile, connected to the VPN, set up the browser with the shortcuts I like to set up, get the email set up, and all that thing. Sparky asking, additional employees or replacement employees to replace people who left? Yes, one of each. We got a new person in legal and a replacement on the security team. So that laptop was easy peasy. But then there was a laptop for the new person in legal. Now that employee request was submitted in February. So her account was built weeks ago. and her laptop's been ready for last week I had a laptop that was spun up, and I'm like, well, we'll set up that laptop for the new legal person. And my coworker goes, oh, I'll set that one up. So I came in this morning. I just want to give it a look over since I'm the one handing it there. And if something's missed on it.
Let me guess, I haven't touched it.
Well, no, it was signed in with her profile. So I know that my coworker signed in as her. But I signed in to check everything, and the VPN's not signed into. And our VPN is an always-on VPN that needs to be signed into even if you're in the office, because it also acts as our web filter. And the way our VPN works is that a user account has to exist for the user within the VPN system, or it won't let them sign in. And the way that's done is by a group permission. So when the sysadmin creates a user account, they need to add them to the permission group, and then every day at 5 p.m., the VPN system compares that group with the user list, creates any accounts it needs to create, and deactivates any accounts it needs to deactivate. So this account was built in February. Her VPN access should be there by now. But when my coworker set it up, he didn't do the sign-in. So I go to sign it in, and it doesn't work. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what the hell? I'm like, it's okay. I got like an hour and a half before I need to deliver this laptop. So I reach out to there are two people that create the accounts. One of them calls out most Mondays, which just happens to be the same day that he'd have to take a train into the office. Kind of getting a reputation there. But the other one, she's in, so I reach out to her. I'm like, hey, so-and-so's Kato isn't working, VPN isn't working. Could you just check the permissions on that? And she wasn't at her desk, so like a half hour goes by. I walk over to the desk. I'm like, hey, you get my message? She goes, oh, yeah, let me check on that for you. I'm like, okay, well, I'll be back at my desk. Just shoot me a message when you're ready. So she shoots me a message and goes, well, I don't know what's going on because she's in the group. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to investigate this myself, because I do have access within these systems to poke around. Mm-hmm. So I signed into the VPN system, and sure enough, no user account created. So I'm like, well, if the sync didn't happen, or if the sync needs to happen, I can force the sync rather than wait till 5 p.m. So I go to the place, I go poking around, I find the place in the system where you can force it to check the group permission and then sync things up and create the accounts if you need to. And I hit the button, and I get an error that it can't connect to the domain controllers. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's not good. And then I find somewhere else in the system, it hasn't connected to the domain controllers since March 20th. So every day at 5 p.m. since March 20th, it bombs out and doesn't check. And this is the first time that we've needed a change to be made. And so now this is when we find out that the automation in the background for our convenience is not working.
So it's not very convenient.
So at this point, I let her know what I found. She's like, well, should I go report this to my boss? And I'm like, well, you could, but it has to do with the VPN, so he's probably going to punt it to the security team. And she did, on a group chat that I'm also a part of. And he punted it to the security team, and they opened up a ticket with the VPN support, a.k.a. One of the most useless support teams who takes for fucking ever to respond to anything. Well, I know that it's going to be at least a few days before they even kick it up to the level of support it needs to be on to actually investigate a real problem. You know, because it's got to go through did you try to turn it off and back on? Are you sure you're really connected to Wi-Fi? Have you tried pinging it?
Does it fly if you throw it out the window?
Well, the windows don't open, and they tend to frown on If I threw it hard enough, yeah, it would
You
absolutely
can fix that.
go
Yeah,
out the
you
window.
can fix that.
Sparky Ray said, so in the end, does Johnny question his sidekick who said he did all this work weeks ago? Well, no, he said he was going to set up the laptop last week. The problem is that, like, he may have ran into the VPN problem, and he may have not escalated that.
Is that
and-
part of his job to escalate stuff like that? At least let you know.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know what his workload was those days. And our work relationship, I don't have a problem with the guy. I do sometimes find things that I thought he was going to do that aren't done. But then again, I'm not his boss. And we help each other out. So
Yeah, your coworkers though. He should say, "Hey, I've done this much. I couldn't." get
sometimes
past
I
this
miss
part."
something. Sometimes
Yeah.
he misses something. And I've found that it's just easier for me to just double check things when I have to put my hands on it. And I think it doesn't hurt even if you do trust someone or not to double check. Everything else was done. It was just this one step that wasn't done. And I don't know if it's that he missed that step on the checklist or if it didn't work and he figured, oh, it needs to sync up. I'll try again tomorrow. And then his workload got too heavy. I just avoid the questioning things that could potentially be confrontational because that's not my job. My job is to do the same job he's doing and to get along with him. I have no good reason to confront him on that.
Okay.
You know, I could have just as easily missed a step like that, and he doesn't confront me on that either. We back each other up is what it is, and he's never seriously let me down.
Okay.
But I guess for me what's confusing is the account was created in February. The syncs were happening at 5 p.m. every evening up until March 20th, which suggests to me that when the account was created, the group permissions weren't added until sometime after March 20th. Like someone started it and then didn't finish it till later.
Oh.
I don't know. I can't make sense of it. So all I know is I get to the point where they're having these conversations back and forth. I'm like, could you manually create a user account for this person? I've got to give this person her laptop in 15 minutes. I really don't feel like walking into the room and say, here, you get a laptop and you don't. I don't want that. And ultimately, that's what had to happen. Is they didn't get it created, and so I walk in, I set up one user on the laptop, I tell the other user, I'm sorry, this is an automated process, that didn't happen, which makes your laptop not work. I will get it to you before the end of the day.
There you go.
And then I went over my slides. But it made me feel, I was off my game, I was rambling, through the slides, my jokes weren't landing as well. It was a bad set. You know. But good enough. Got it done. So anyways, after that, it wasn't until the afternoon that this still isn't fixed, and it's not getting fixed because it's sitting in the VPN support team's queue, and they'll get to it when they're good and ready to. And so I had to reach back, and I'm in the VPN console, and there's a new account button. That's grayed out for me because they don't give me permission to do. You're not allowed to do that. You could try to force a sync of the servers, but you can't create a user account there. So I asked my coworker who was helping me again, hey, were you able to try to create an account? And I had to send screenshots of where the button was, and she's like, oh, let me try again. And so finally, at 2:00, I had the laptop ready, and just in time. Because at 2:00, I take the laptop, I walk out to where her desk is, and her and her boss were just getting ready to march over to my door to start knocking. Where's this laptop?
Yeah.
They were very appreciative and very thankful. I don't think they would have really been banging on the door, but they were getting ready to come find me. Because as I'm walking there, like, oh, good, there he is now. And so, yeah, finally... So we still have the problem, and hopefully they fix it before the next onboarding. So that was Sparky writes in, so not having a laptop for really affected you. That's good in a way. Proves you still care about your job and company. Oh,
No.
I mean, it you know, it's kind of like an egg on your face moment where it's like, I'm the guy that brings your laptop, and here I am introducing myself, explaining why there's going to be a delay. That's their first impression of me. I like to get that one right. I want to nail that one. You know, onboarding's very important. That's your first impression you're setting for the new member of the company. You want to really leave them with the impression of, wow, the service desk here has it down. They really know what they're doing. They came right in. They had everything ready. They told me what I needed to know. They sent me off to the next person. Instead, it's like, well, you get a laptop and yours some point today. But ultimately, I mean, well, the thing is that while I'm setting her up with the laptop, one of the other coworkers walked by and they always, you know, they kind of do a like, make sure you make friends with him. He'll help you out. So that helped boost me up a little bit today. And Sparky writes in, you don't want an impression of my IT guy is an asshole. Well, that's easy to not make that impression. That's why I try to land a few jokes and give off a friendly vibe. And really what it is I don't want to give off the impression of my IT guy is incompetent, or my IT guy is a little, you know, off, or, you know, kind of, you know, inconsistent or flaky. You know, I that's really the impression I'm trying to avoid. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I got it done, and I guess I looked well enough. So, but I hate it when those things happen. I got to say, the IT training is my least favorite part of my job, because I really don't feel like I'm a good public speaker. And I feel like I'm just rambling through a bunch of bullet points on someone's first day that's trying to come up to speed on how we do things at this company, and I don't know how much of it's being retained. Although I do send them the slides afterwards. But
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Oh, Sparky writes, did you see to speak okay on Twitch? Well, it helps to have a co-host.
It also helps to have a cat on your lap.
That too.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
too. It also helps for it to be low stakes. But what was I going to say?
I was going to ask you a question, Gators.
Oh, go ahead.
You sent a tweet out yesterday.
Oh, which one was that?
You were mad at a company, Gators.
Oh, did they reply back?
No, I don't know. I didn't look at the reply. I just know you were mad at someone.
Oh, they have not replied back. Oh, that one was actually not in all caps. Oh, yeah. If at Sumo Logic doesn't come up with a fucking working uninstall for their stupid app, I'm going to start classifying it as a virus. No,
yeah, you said the F word on Twitter, so I didn't know.
One F word.
Oh, only one. Only one.
Actually, okay, two. All right. Oh, well, that's another. Last week, someone pushed the wrong button.
Oh no! Who pushed the wrong button, Gators?
A very nice guy who I get along with great, and I have great conversations with, that made an innocent mistake that anyone could have made, and I don't at all hold it against it.
Oh.
But damn it, is this situation pissing me off.
Okay.
So he meant to deploy this tool to some servers, and he accidentally clicked the wrong group and sent it out to all the workstations.
It's like, yes, I got new things.
And it installed on 40 of my laptops before he caught it and stopped it. So now I got 40 laptops that have this app on it. And the security team is concerned that this is going to affect our billing if they detect how many that 40 more machines in our environment are using this tool. And so he's asked us if we could. Now, I thought the guy that pushed the button was working on uninstalling it, but he probably thought he did, because, you know, I get the ticket to, hey, can you please remove this from on any laptops that have it? And it comes with an uninstall executable in the folder.
Yeah. Huh?
So I build a script that would call on the uninstall executable, and it bombs out because the app is still running. So then I write a script that kills the process and then runs the uninstall executable. And nothing happens. The count doesn't go down. So I connect to one of the machines it's on is a spare loaner laptop that's on in the lab. So I connect over into there. I run the executable from the command line. It says, app is uninstalling. It sits and says that forever at the command line and never actually finishes. But at some point, the app's no longer on the laptop, so it's got a bad exit. But it removes it. Okay, great. I can work with this. I modify my script based on what I learned from running it manually. Push it out again. Still nothing happens. I start manually running it on other machines, and for some reason, on most of the machines, when I call on the uninstaller, it just does nothing. It just gives me a new prompt. It gives no trying to uninstall, no error, no return code, no log entry. It just does nothing. And I don't know why it does nothing. I think there might be a prerequisite that's missing that I guess maybe if you really wanted the app on there, you'd have on the laptop, and maybe the prerequisite is called on by the uninstaller.
Is
and
there
it's
like
not,
a /F for force, or is there like something else you can set to it?
I've
that.
I have Googled high and low for all the syntax. I found all the syntax. There's like basically a silent syntax and there's a console syntax. And I think the console is supposed to actually provide data. It doesn't matter. It just finishes with no return and no error, no nothing. I think there must be a prerequisite I'm missing that causes it to do nothing and not tell you why. And so I basically spent a whole day banging my head against this brick wall, which was someone else's mistake that caused, because this fucking uninstall app that comes with this application doesn't work. So I thought maybe, and so then I try to reach out to their support, but my email address isn't in their system as a contact. Or no, it is. My email address is in their system, but I haven't logged into that system in so long because I rarely touch it that I don't have a working password. So I try to do a password reset, but the email never comes through. And I know it's not just a case of I don't have an account, because if I try with a different email, it tells me that there's no account with that email. So the fact that it says it's sending me an email says that, yes, we have this email address in our system, but I'm not getting an email from them to finish the reset. So I don't know if there's some other problem with my account. So then I try to find a way to reach out to their support. But the only way to reach out to the support is to sign in to prove that you're actually a customer that their support is willing to talk to. So, I mean, at that point, it was the end of the day Friday, and it's like, fuck this shit. I'm going to yell at them on Twitter, and I'm going to have a weekend. And then today's an office day, so I couldn't get it. Maybe tomorrow I'll have some time to bang my head against that one some more. So I don't know. All I know is I'm getting closer and closer to the point of building a script that just manually deletes the files and removes the registry entries to just manually nuke it. I hate doing it that way. That's not a technically correct way to do things, but sometimes it comes down to that. Mm-hmm. And that is a way that it can be done, because if you delete the folders, it still shows up in the remove programs, but if you delete the registry entries, it disappears from there too, and that essentially accomplishes the uninstall goal. It's just that you might not have caught everything. There might still be some profile files somewhere. There might still be some registry entries that are deeper in there, and you don't want to start digging too far into the registry, because you delete the wrong thing, you fuck the whole OS install. It's a bad way to go, but sometimes it comes down to it. So I might be, if I don't have a solution by after lunch Wednesday, I'm going to build the script to nuke it manually and just push that out and be done with it. Sparky, ready again. Sometimes you just need to hit the nuke button. That's
true.
Very
true.
5-It Dude, ready again. What's the tool? Do they have a paying Tattletale support line asking for a friend? It's Sumo Logic. It's one of their tools, and they have support for paying customers. And basically, I would need to go to the head of the sysadmin team and ask him if he can figure out why because I've checked the spam folder, I checked the junk folder, I checked the filters. It's not going. It's probably my account's probably in some kind of a deactive state for not being logged into for so long that someone has to take action to activate it before they'll let you do a password reset. So it's probably in the state where the password reset acknowledges it's an account and gives you the standard response of, we're totally going to email you, but the system says, no, we don't send an email until that account's reactivated. Because sometimes the error message doesn't accurately reflect what's really happening. That's my best guess there.
I'd say it's a pretty good guess.
Yeah. I mean, because the only thing an error message is what someone typed in that they assumed was accurate for every instance of that condition. And sometimes a certain condition triggers that error message in a case that's not entirely aligned with the error message. That's something I've seen many times, where the error message sends you down the wrong rabbit hole in the wrong direction with wrong assumptions because you take it at its word. And yeah. Dune running in rat you out for over deploying. I think they have an automated billing process there. I don't think it's most software has gotten to a point where that's not the way they regulate things anymore. Like, let me tell you a story. I'm not saying that this happened here, but I'm going to talk as if it did. So once upon a time, we might have been using Adobe Pro 11 XI. And that's a very old version. No, X is 9.
Xi. That's what
Adobe Pro Xi.
Yeah, that's what the screen reader says is Xi.
And when this mythical company had purchased Adobe Professional XI, back then it literally was lifetime individual licenses. It wasn't, because now Adobe products are subscription services. You don't just buy a pro license and you have it forever. You subscribe to pro licenses. But back in the Adobe 11 era, you actually bought a license and you're good unless you want to upgrade. Mm-hmm. So for a long time in our environment, the majority of our employees were on Adobe Reader, the current version. But if someone said, well, I need to edit something, we'd uninstall the current Adobe Reader and we'd install the ancient Adobe Professional 11. The problem is that there was no one was controlling the number of installs that was happening. Mm-hmm. And if anyone ever started pointing out, we have 25 licenses and it's installed on 50 machines, and I'm pulling these numbers out of thin air because this is hypothetical. But even if it weren't hypothetical, those are make-believe numbers. I don't remember what the real numbers may have been if this weren't hypothetical, but that doesn't matter because it's hypothetical. So hypothetically, this might have been on 50 machines, and hypothetically, there might have been 25 licenses. And there were no controls to do that except for the call, rat them out type of thing. And no one's doing that. Or they might show up and run an audit and fine you. And I brought this up multiple times. Other people have brought this up. And the answer was always, well, we're looking into buying new licenses, but we're also looking into other programs because Adobe licenses are expensive. But for now, send an email out to all the people that have it because they probably don't all need it. And if anyone doesn't need it, uninstall it from their machine. And anytime you send an email out to these hypothetical 50 people, hypothetically 2 or 3 people might respond. So hypothetically, that would bring you down to 47, which is not much better. So that was the way things were going for a long time. Well, then, hypothetically, at some point, someone finally does something right, and someone finally buys some modern licenses, which means that now we have to get the modern Adobe, because the way Adobe Reader and Acrobat work, or actually, I guess the product's still Acrobat now. It used to be Adobe Reader was the free version. Adobe Acrobat was the pro version. But I think now it's Adobe Acrobat Reader and Adobe Acrobat Pro or Adobe Acrobat Standard, because they made a cheaper professional version.
Well, there's the
that's called Standard.
DC version. Is that the version?
DC's still a reader thing. That has to do with, I think,
Digital.
right.
Yeah.
So we got the licenses, which means we had to convert everyone that had a license to be federated. I think is the federated or enterprise. Basically, we had to assign the license their email address, which means that they have to sign in. So you have to. But the problem is that when we pushed out this new version in our environment and to prepare to get the licenses applied, it unleashed something in our environment that spied on us, hypothetically. And hypothetically, this thing noticed that we had, 50 unofficial or expired installs of Adobe Pro 11, and it shut them all off. So I went from thinking I have 2 weeks to get this rolled out to all the users to, holy shit, everyone that uses Adobe Pro is putting in tickets, and I gotta push this out fast.
Yeah.
And so I did. I managed to. It was a pain in the ass. There were some machines I could automate the uninstall, reinstall. There were some machines I could automate the cleanup tool. Some machines still had the x86 version of Adobe Reader, which meant I had to do a full uninstall before pushing out the new version because we were going all 64. Some uninstallers would only work on certain versions. Over the years, the versions that were installed, even though they were self-updating, were still different installers, and so the uninstall would bomb out on some machines and work on others, and so that's where I would use a cleanup tool. And I built some workflows, I built some scripts, and hammered at it. And within 2 days, I had most of it done and just had to schedule calls for a few stubborn machines. But damn it, that pissed me off. That for years we got away with something, and what happened? We gave Adobe money, and they punished us for that by turning off the thing that we gave them money for.
So there was
hypothetically,
setting up licenses. They used to do ESRI training in my lab, and I was the administrator in the room. So because that's what they hired me for. And basically, ESRI is basically digital mapping software. It's ArcGIS, and so I set up the server on one of the machines at the time, and you set it up. They go, okay, you have a 25 user license because they give it to you for free because you're doing training for them, and we're using it for education. I'm like, okay, 25 users. We had 40 computers in the lab, so the class starts, and there's 40 people in there. And I look at the teacher, I look at the main instructor of the room. I'm like, we have a problem. They're like, what? I have a 25 user license for this software, and there's 40 people in here. And they look at me like, crap, what do we get? So they get on the horn and start talking to ESRI, and I'm like, just a second. Hold for a second, you guys. I go into the software, I go, well, there's a drop down. And I click on the 25 and I change it to 45 and hit enter. And they look, and I go, I fixed it. And they go, how did you fix it? I just gave us 20 more licenses. And they look at me and they hang up with their people and they go, okay, class can start.
Now, does that automatically bill you or?
It was not, number one, we got it for free. It was a grant that came to our college. So it was not, we didn't pay for it. Since the company did training in our lab, I don't know. We never got billed for it. All I know is I fixed it. And
go.
the teacher, the instructors, there were 2 instructors from Canada that were doing the class, and they look at me, and they said, "Never mind." They hang up with their people at ESRI, and they said, "Okay, class can start." And that is
Yeah.
how we got 20 more licenses for free.
Sparky Renegade, you were good until you gave out money. Yeah, that was the ironic.
Yeah,
that
pretty
seemed
much.
ironic.
Don't give out money, Gators. That's the problem.
That seemed ironic to me, but really, even if hypothetically we were good till we gave out money, we were actually not good because it was getting harder to use Adobe Pro 11 in our environment. I mean, Adobe Pro 11 is probably from the Windows 7 era, so it was at a point that the installation was tricky. You had to install a certain patch to get it to install properly.
Some of those older versions of the editor didn't let you do digital signing. They didn't let you do certain things. It's like, dude, yeah.
There were features that were missing from that Pro version that were starting to get used more in the Reader version.
Yeah.
So every now and then I would have a use because to cut down on conflicts, I would try to keep and to cut down from users that don't understand that 2 versions of the same software could live concurrently and they might accidentally change the default, because sometimes you get someone that goes, my Adobe isn't letting me edit, and it's like, well, you changed your default to Reader. Here, let's change it back to Pro. So generally my practice became, whenever you put someone on Pro 11, remove the current Reader so that there's only one version and make sure that's set to the default.
Yeah.
And also, cut down on conflicts, cut down on defaults and confusion. And for a long time you can get away with that. But yeah, at some point I did have people that were getting PDF documents that had certain features in them that 11 couldn't handle or read properly. So it reached a point where I had to tell people, okay, I'm going to install Reader alongside of it. You have 2 versions. We could set one to be the default that opens, but this other one's here if you need to open that one manually and open the document there if it's not working here. So that's not a good situation.
No, it's not a good solution, but
that's where it's like, we really need some new licenses.
yeah. Yeah, and you just all you can do is wait for the company. I mean, I had to do that many times in software. I need this for my lab. Well, we could put out a I'm like, we need it tomorrow, but you need to expedite. We need this tomorrow, IT, and I will install it. I will do the grunt work. You just need to make sure it works and give me the campus license for it.
There you go.
I'll do all the hard work. You guys sit there and do other stuff, and they're like, but I'm like, if you don't give me this software, you're going to have to deal with my boss. Do you want to deal with my boss? They're like, no. We don't want to deal with your boss. Usually, they would sit there and go, yeah, it'll be in your email in the morning. I'm like, thank you.
And then another type of licensing that I don't see as much of anymore that was really annoying was, what do they call that? Concurrent licensing? Or...
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. With the ESRI software, I was allowed to have 25 users and 25 concurrent users. You can install it on the machines, but you can only have 25. I fixed that to 45. Concurrent users, you can only have that many. And it's the server that controls that.
So at the bank job up in Maine, we had a document imaging software that was used if you need to pull up digital, loan documents, mostly is what was in there. And so I think, the thought was, well, how many people actually need to read loan documents at the same time from the system? And I think they came up with something like 5 or 10, something like that. Actually, it was a low number. It was like 5. So I think we had 5 concurrent licenses, which basically, but the problem is how do people tend to work? You open something up, you open something else up, you open something else up. So you reach a point in the day where 5 people have opened up a loan document that they're no longer reading that is behind 10 other windows on their machines. Person number 6 needs to pull up a loan document, and they get an error message that there are no licenses available because all 5 concurrent licenses are in use. And instead of going, oh, that means there are 5 dumbasses that work with me that I need to, figure out who they are, or I need to wait and try again later. No, they call me. It's not working. It's giving me this error message. What's the error message? There are no concurrent license available. Oh, that means there's no license available, which means I got to go in and look up who's got it and call them up and go, hey, could you close on base? Joe needs to read something.
This is my experience.
Well, they do have a timeout that we eventually enabled. But go ahead.
My experience is you say, there are 5 people that need this. You buy 10.
Well, the thing is that when I was running into this multiple times, I'm like, the obvious response from the person that isn't responsible from the budget is we don't have enough licenses. We are constantly running out of licenses. I'm getting calls like this every few days, multiple calls a week. Could we get some more licenses? And the answer I was getting from my boss is, we don't need more licenses. People need to close their windows. And she wasn't wrong, because like I said, after it kept happening and became too much of an inconvenience, we started digging into it, and that's when we found that there was a timeout feature that you can turn on, that if a session is idle for a period of time, it'll just automatically boot the person out, and that frees up the license. And so I think we put like some kind of like a 30-minute timeout in there, and that reduced the amount of calls we were getting. And so, yeah, when you put a rule like that in and the calls go away, she was right. We didn't need more than 5 people at a
There you
time.
go.
What was annoying for a while. Anyways, on that note, I suppose it's time to put another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
to bed. So, we do try to be educational here. I think we all learned a bunch of things here. So, Mars, what have you learned here this week?
You need to buy some more variable resistors for your tape player.
There we go. And OX64 says we're ending too early. We need a 24-hour stream. I could probably build a 24-hour stream out of my full show automation like the Radio Tiki stream. Although
I could nap.
I think one of my shows I forgot to stop recording and then Skyped Lisa after the show. So I might need to find that show and trim that out before Still
So
totally.
let's probably trim that out and use that. You just have that one part.
That makes it sound like it was not an innocent conversation. It was an innocent conversation, but it's boring. It's private. So I learned OX64 needs a 24-hour stream. I also learned that Dune thinks it might be. Dune's not hating the idea of using the hammer picture as a reference for someone else's stream. We'll have to figure that out. Sparky learned Johnny likes blue rooms. There we go. So we need to go find someone to raid. That's what we need to do. And let's see what we got here. Tired Actor is live again. And
that's good. I haven't seen her on in a while.
Yeah. I've seen her somewhat recently doing a late night stream one night. But yeah, I don't think we've raided her in a while, and we might have enough people in here to actually get a raid through to her. All right, we're gonna go and try to raid Tired Actor, and all right, it's working. All right, well, thank you again for tuning in. We'll see you next week, and good night.
Night.
And we are raided.
That is happening.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
have a good night.